Well, good morning again, everyone. Happy Cinco de Mayo. I was telling Dirk, Sharon might have heard that my husband was reading last night that some people feel a little bit gypped because Cinco de Mayo is also falling on Taco Tuesday. So it's not like they can get their tacos more than just once this week, apparently. I know. And I wanted to read you a couple of thoughts for the day. This one I came across yesterday, and I feel like this is definitely a preaching to the choir type of statement, but we're going on about 6 weeks of quarantine in this never before kind of experienced time. And I know we're all at different places with this. So the thought is, as much as we need a prosperous economy, we also need a prosperity of kindness and decency. So again, I say that because I feel like I'm preaching to people who already live by this, but it's just a nice thought to be reminded of. As much as we need a prosperous economy, we also need a prosperity of kindness and decency. And then I'll read you my last one while we relax. Good. So I see some of you have your straps. So if you do have a strap nearby, you can grab it. I will not be using it. It's just going to help for some of our poses, especially as we start on the ground. So Teresa, stay down. So we're coming in and starting in child's pose this morning. Yes. We got a thumbs up. Yes, you're welcome. And we're going to stay there until 7:20. No. So finding that comfortable position for yourselves, reaching with arms forward if you can, knees wide, plenty of room for your bellies, forehead to the mat or your crossed forearms. And just allow your belly to fill that space between your legs with slow inhales, and then retract back with your exhale. Feel the effects of your gently rounded back and a gentle inversion, blood flow increasing to the brain. And we'll take 2 more slow, deep breaths here. Thinking about what we're grateful for in this first Tuesday in May. With your next inhale, just a little lift with that head as you walk your hands to one side. And in doing so, feel that stretch in the lower part of your back, opposite of where your hands are. You can still relax your head down as much as you can, or grab a blanket or block for your forehead. Or once again, just stack those forearms and bring your forehead to your forearms. Next inhale, lift your head just a little bit, walk those hands over to the other side, and as you come over, once again, feeling that stretch in the opposite side of your lower back from where your hands are stretched to. On your inhale, walking hands back to center, gently lifting your head just a little bit. This time bringing arms by your legs, palms up. So you're going to allow those shoulders to drop and have a nice gentle stretch. And release across the top part of your back. With your next inhale, bringing your hands underneath your shoulders and lifting that head, working your way up into all fours. I'm going to turn sideways so you can see me for these next few poses. Lift your feet and then just tuck your toes under. So now we're coming back into child's pose with the purpose of stretching our arches underneath our feet. So with those toes tucked under and your hips shifting back, you should feel a nice gentle stretch under your feet. Still reaching forward as we started. your next inhale, lift your head, bring your hands back in underneath your shoulders. Keep your toes tucked under. We're now coming back to that same position, but we'll reach the arms back by our side. Fingers will come to the side to grab on to the side of your feet. We are going to roll up toward the top of our head in our rabbit pose. So round the back, feel the stretch, roll toward the top of your head. I'm really only getting to my hairline, but that's my goal, is to think if I roll and stretch, arms extended, I'm rounding my back toward the ceiling to get a really good stretch here. So I want you to exhale and release hips toward your heels, and then just take a deep breath in and out. We'll do this one more time. So with your next exhale, go ahead and round the back, pull on the outside, or with the outside of your, on the outside of your foot with those fingertips. And then as you exhale, gently and slowly release those hips back to your heels. Release your fingers coming underneath your shoulders to lift up into all fours. Shift to one side to pick up one hand and circle your wrist a few times each direction. Placing that hand down, shifting to that side as you lift up your other hand, a few circles each way. And as you exhale, bringing that hand back down to the mat, we'll do a few neck circles. So you can either just drop your head and circle, or you can try it with bringing your head just ahead of your hands and circling with your head on the mat. So you can walk your knees up toward your hands a little bit, and then lowering down, your weight still stays controlled through your hands and lower legs. But it's just a little circle this way for something a little different. Slowly coming around. You can hold it where it feels really good. Just nice to use the floor. So however, if you're in the air or circling on the mat like I am, switch directions. Again, just take your time if it feels good. Ear toward the mat. Coming around. Keeping it slow. Keeping it gentle. It's okay if we mess up your hair. Most of us aren't going anywhere anyway. Good. Now let's go ahead and just bring it on up as you inhale. And we'll go through cat-cow from here. Inhaling, arching, looking up. Exhale, round. Just as we did before in rabbit. Inhale, arch. Exhale, round. Inhale, arch. And round. And one more. Good. Bringing your spine back into neutral. And sitting back on those heels, reaching forward once again in child's pose. This time, focus on stretching under your shoulders as you walk your fingers forward. And then as you inhale, bringing it back into all fours, we're going to tuck those toes and alternate lifting up into downward dog. On your exhale, inhale back down into all fours. So just warming up those calves. Good job. And feel your upper body shifting back. Head between those arms, weight in the heels of those hands. You can tap all the way down or just knees toward the floor. One more. Now hold it up in downward dog. Work to flatten the back. Alternate the heels to the mat. Stretching them out. You've been just shifting your body right and left a little bit. Staying here for one more inhale. Then as you exhale, let's come back down to those knees. And we're going to lay it all the way down on our bellies. So extend your legs out. Bring it all the way down. Reach those arms out in front. With your next inhale, we'll lift up arms and legs, or just modify with one or the other, and hold. Superman, Superwoman. You can release your neck and look back down at your mat once you know what we're doing. On your exhale, everyone can lower down. We'll do it one more time. So if you modified and did just arms, then this time do just legs. Next, inhale, lift. So focus on that lower back. This is where this starts. See if you can lift a little bit higher. Staying in that good control. One more inhale to lift a little higher. Then on your exhale, lower everything down and bring those arms by your side. Lay on one cheek for a breath. Now with your next inhale, we'll lift up just the same with our arms by our side, arms and or legs, holding here, locust pose. Again, you can look down at your mat once you know what we're doing to be kind to your neck. One more inhale, lifting a little higher. On your exhale, lower down. You can lay on one cheek for a breath. And with your next inhale, lift and hold again. So if you modified with just arms or legs last time, lift the opposite. Otherwise, we're lifting both for a second time. Extend those fingers. Focus on stretching and releasing those fingers. One more inhale. Lift up a little higher if you can. Then on your exhale, gently lower down. Laying on one cheek for another inhale, exhale. Feeling those shoulders drop down. With your next inhale, just lifting your head. This is where your strap may come in handy. And then just go ahead and bend one leg and then reach back. So if you need your strap here, just put it on the front of your foot and you can hold. Bring the heel toward the glute. If you don't have your strap and can reach back with both hands, grab the toes with the other hand. Keep pulling the heel in. And we'll stay here for a couple more breaths, feeling that quad stretch.
You okay, Dirk?
Yeah.
Maybe.
As you exhale, release that side. Inhale, bending your other knee. Little side bend over to grab that foot. Pull the heel in or strap around the front of this foot. Pull the heel in. If you can, reach back with the other hand. Grab the toes. Pull in. We'll stay here for a few breaths. I'll give you a little more time if you're using your strap. And as you exhale, gently release that side. Arms by your side, head and chest still lifted. So now we're coming in with both feet bending in. So again, you can grab your strap. You can even just adjust and turn to the side to put that strap around the front of your feet. Strap coming up each side of your body. Otherwise, reach back with those hands, little side bends each way. Pull the heels in, bending the arms. And when you're ready, we'll inhale into bow pose. So you're pushing your feet against your hands, extending the arms, stretching the front of the shoulders and chest, lifting that chest. When we release, we're going to still hold our feet or strap, but just release the tension. With your next exhale, lower down. So again, just staying right here. Just let everything drop toward the mat. Taking an inhale, exhale. And with your next inhale, let's come into bow pose one more time. lifting. Very good. Arms are stretched. Feet pushing into the hands to lift the quads off the mat. One more inhale. On your exhale, release and lower down. So as we release the feet, after doing our Superman and Superwoman's locust and bow pose, we're now going to come back into child's pose. So very slowly lift. Your back is in that arched position. And sit back. Slow shift and transition. Back into child's pose for a few more breaths. Feel the lower back rounding. With your next inhale, we'll just lift the head and chest. We're going to do a thread the needle, but most often we do it with our hips high and then we thread through and come down. We are actually this time going to stay with our hips back over toward our heels, and then just with that head and chest lifted, bring one arm, palm up through the arm, and then shift back down with your body. So you can keep this other arm extending forward, or you can bring it behind your back, but we're just a little bit lower, more compressed. If it's too tight, then go ahead and come up with the hips over the knees and do your thread the needle this way. Otherwise, for something a little different, just trying it from child's pose. And stay for 2 more breaths. Body over that shoulder to stretch the muscles, making this very intentional and purposeful. And with your next inhale, lifting your head and chest, bringing that arm back out. On your exhale, bring the other arm through, palm up. And you can come again, forehead toward the mat or look toward your hand, laying on the side of your forehead. This arm can stay extended out front or arm behind your back. With your next inhale, lift your head and chest. If your arm is behind your back, reach that arm forward first and then release the arm that was thread through. We're now coming forehead toward your mat or block. We will not have arms to support this next posture from child's pose. We'll reach back with both hands, interlace your fingers or grab one hand with the other and try to lift the arms off the back. So again, forehead down, mat or block or blanket. Reaching back, interlace fingers, lift the arms up or grab one hand with the other. And you can shift forward a little bit, coming off of your heels, if that feels better for your lower body, if you feel too compressed. And as you exhale, lower those arms back down. Release your hands, wiggle your fingers. And let's lift and come to laying on one side. Extend your lower arm. Take that upper arm, and just as we did before, let that arm release behind you or at an angle toward your head. Just feeling that stretch through the lat muscles and your shoulders. And your legs can be bent or staggered, whatever helps support your body without holding unnecessary tension. And then with your next exhale, go ahead and just bring this arm slowly down in front. We'll work up into a forearm plank. So I'm turning to face you sideways. So we are coming onto that forearm with the elbow under the shoulder, and you can lift up to support yourself on that inside knee, or you can extend both legs. So transitioning to the forearm plank, you can reach your arm up once you're here, making sure your shoulders are stacked over each other. You can also lift your outside leg. A little more challenge. Very good. Take 2 more breaths here. Shaking is good and normal. And then as you exhale, bring it back down onto your hip. Lower the arm down. We're going to stay here and come up onto our hand for a T-stand. Fingers pointing away from your body on that inside knee, or extending that lower leg out, feet staggered or stacked. Leg down or raised. One more inhale, and then on your exhale, lower down. So let's switch to the other side, starting in that laying down position. Lower arm extended, head will lay on this arm, and the upper arm just stretches behind you, or again, slightly up toward your head at a little diagonal. Lower body supporting your upper body. So again, you can stagger your legs so you have a broader base of support. And with your next exhale, slowly bending this elbow, bringing that arm to the front. Inhale, coming up on your forearm, noting elbow under shoulder, and then pushing and lifting up onto that forearm, inside knee, or extend both legs, hips stay lifted, arm extends, outside leg lifts, or challenge. Breathe through it, one breath at a time. One more inhale. On your exhale, everything lowers down, back onto that hip. Upper arm comes down. Setting up for the full T-stand, fingers pointing away from your body, pushing and lifting up when you're ready, starting on that inside knee, extending out. Even if you extend out for just one inhale, exhale this morning, and then come down, give it a try. Extend that outside leg. One more inhale. Then as you exhale, lower down. Good. We're going to just bend the knees and come around on your knees facing the long way of your mat. And extend one leg out toward me, or depending on how your mat is, but just one leg out, and we will inhale, exhale, stretching over the extended leg. So to face you, it looks like this. One leg is bent, other leg extended. It's a great side stretch. Your toes can face forward, or if it feels more comfortable, you can stretch them out toward the short end of your mat, dropping that shoulder of the side we're stretching toward. With your next inhale, use your core to reach both arms up. We'll stay right here with those legs as we drop down. On the other hand, stretching over the bent side. Very long stretch from fingertips to toes. Should be easier to face those toes to the long end of the mat this way. So from here, as you inhale, let's rotate that chest toward the ceiling. Let this arm once again just flop behind you. You should feel this all the way through your hip, even the front of the lower leg. With your next exhale, come into that side stretch. Inhale, using that core to reach both arms up. As you exhale, bring arms down in front, coming to both knees. Just take an inhale, exhale here. And next inhale, raise those arms up. Extend the other leg out. And exhale over that leg, reaching toward the leg. Arm comes over. And try not to round forward. Try to stay right over that hip, nice and tall, shoulder dropped. And with your next inhale, stretch and reach both arms up. On your exhale, dropping that hand to the other side, stretching and reaching this way. Hips staying over the knees, so trying not to let your hips sink back unless you're modifying intentionally. That'll keep everything stretched as much as it can. And with your next inhale, just a slight rotation so that your chest can face toward the ceiling. Letting that arm again just stretch back. On your next exhale, coming back into the side stretch. Inhale, reaching both arms up. Exhale, arms down in front. Next inhale, stretch and reach. So go ahead and position yourself so you're facing the short end of your mat once again. And from the knees, we'll step 1 foot forward, stretch that front hip flexor. Arms can come up or one hand on each side of your foot. As we come into this low lunge stretch. So get ready, we'll be tucking our back toes under to come up into crescent lunge here. See if we can do it with our arms still extended. So first, just relaxing into the stretch for a couple more breaths. With that next inhale, again, lifting your back foot, tucking your toes, and then just try coming off of that back knee, just extending that leg, rising up just a few inches. It's a good balance challenge. Still trying to feel that leg, that hip flexor muscle stretching versus holding tension just for the balance. So we have some tension for the balance, but we also still want to stretch the hip flexor. Take 2 more breaths here. And on your exhale, let's have everyone lower down, including the arms. And then let's just pull that front leg down before we go to the other side. Nice little pigeon stretch. Come over that front leg if you want, otherwise you can stay tall. Shift your hips right and left, holding where it feels like the best stretch for that whole gluteal muscle. And with your inhale, lift your head and chest. If you were lowered down, coming back to your hands, tucking your back toes under, and just bringing that front leg back so that you're on your knees, working your way back up to your lower legs. So before we come to this side, let's take 2 deep breaths. Arms on your side this time. Inhale, exhale. And then shifting to the other side so you can bring your other foot forward. Inhale those arms up, sinking down into your low lunge. I now have the top of my foot back down, my back foot. Just relaxing here, trying to just let go, just another 1/2 inch, 1/4 inch even, just let it go. Lengthen that hip flexor muscle. One more inhale, exhale. With your next inhale, picking that back foot off the ground to tuck your toes under, and then just extend that back leg. So just a little lift coming up just a few inches. Crescent lunge on the ball of that back foot. Very good. Notice where we feel different on each side. With your next exhale, we're going to lower that knee back down, bring those hands down, and grab that front ankle, coming to the outside of that leg. And again, you can stay right here. You can shift right and left. You can bring your whole body down. Always paying attention to each side different. With your next inhale, lift your head and chest if you were down. Hands come back to the mat under your shoulders. We are just going to bring that front leg back, staying in all fours, so you can tuck your toes and lift up once again into downward dog. Feel free to pedal those feet once again, or just hold both feet down if you're ready. Just stretch both together. And to work those calves a little bit more, we're going to alternate now, lifting up, pushing toward the tips of our toes, and then lowering the heels back down. So as you inhale, lift up to the toes. Exhale, heels back down. Let's try 3 more. Head still between the arms, still trying to keep the back flat, especially as you lower the heels back down. With your next exhale, lower back down onto those knees and come to a sitting position. So once you're here, let's lean back and circle your wrists nice and slow. A lot of work today. And then let's just go ahead and bring those fingertips toward each other with arms extended. And with this lean back position, twist side to side. Nice and slow. Feel the muscles in your back, but also working the front of the core. And with your next inhale, extend the spine, reach up. Exhale, back and hold. Heels still down. With your next inhale, lift one leg, fingertips facing each other again, hands sideways, twist side to side. Shoulders relaxed. And only ever as much tension as we need for a pose or movement. On your inhale, keeping that leg lifted, try to reach and stretch up. Exhale down and hold. Switch your legs. Fingertips facing in. If you need to release at all, just lay back, hug your knees in, or sit up tall. One more each side, and on your inhale, extend tall. Exhale, back and hold. We're going one more place with this. You guessed it. Both feet lifted. Fingertips in, side to side. Breathe. On your inhale, lift and extend the spine. Good control. I dip my feet down. Lean back and hold. One more inhale, exhale. And with the exhale, let's all roll it back, grabbing your knees. Woo! Circle your ankles. Other way. And as you exhale, bring the bottom of your feet together. Arms come by your side. And we'll lift up into bridges. If you don't want to keep your feet from this position sideways, lifting up, then go ahead and bring the bottom of your feet to the mat. Otherwise, on your inhale, lift your hips up and then exhale down. So we're staying from this bound angle position and lifting the hips up and down unless you want to modify back onto the bottom of your feet. So it's an inhale, lift, exhale, lower. 2 more. Last one. And with your next inhale, last thing, extend those legs and feel the stretch in your hamstrings here, or roll up and grab anywhere on your legs and hold the stretch here. Or you can grab your strap, put it on the bottom of your feet around the balls, and pull those legs in. So work to keep those legs as straight as you can. And if you need to bring your body closer, or your legs closer to your body to feel that hamstring stretch better, then go ahead and do so. Now as you exhale, soften those knees, and you can extend out on your mat, grab whatever you need for relaxation. Your blanket, another sip of water. A few more deep breaths. Everyone did a great job.